Good morning, guys. Judge Morris here. I wanted to start off today with the Rayquaza guide and actually showing you a very general summary of some of the things I'm going to be talking about today. I'm going to go into a little bit more detail, but this is a Rayquaza, I guess, general infographic from PokeBattler.com. It's very useful. Guess we'll go over a few things right now. Rayquaza's max CP for a non-weather boosted one is going to be 2083, and for weather boosted it's going to be 2604. In my video, I'm going to be talking about, I think, everything on this list, with the exception of two that are going to be in this infographic. Salamence, I don't have one yet, so I like to use my screenshots from my own team when possible. I don't have a Salamence yet, and I don't have a Gardevoir yet. The Gardevoir I actually have the candies for, I just haven't found a good Ralts yet. I don't think I have one that's above 86 IV, so I'm holding off there. But I will be going into other Fairy-type attackers, which they don't here. So this is a good summary, and I will include a link to PokeBattler.com and this infographic in the description down below. Alright, so let's jump into what you actually need to take down a Rayquaza. So yeah, that infographic shows a lot of the very good general counters. Let's start by going over Rayquaza's weaknesses, and he's going to be weak to four things. Rayquaza is going to have a double weakness to ice, so that is going to be your best bet, and we'll go over a lot of ice-type attackers. Rayquaza is going to have a single weakness to dragon, and you do have to be careful there. So if the Rayquaza raid boss has dragon-type moves, don't bring in your dragons, because he will slaughter your dragons. But if you have dragons with dragon-type moves and Rayquaza does not have dragon-type moves, then your dragons are a good option. Moving on from that, Rayquaza is also weak to Fairy-type Pokemon. There's not a lot of good options for that, but I will go over a few besides Gardevoir. Because, yeah, Gardevoir is going to be your best option if you have a Gardevoir with Fairy-type moves. And then, additionally, Rock-type. Gardevoir is weak to Rock-type. And honestly, like, I would just bring, if you're going to use Rock-types, and there are situations where you should, like, if Rayquaza has, Rock Blast, he will slaughter your Ice-type Pokemon, right? So, in that situation, it might be a good idea to just roll in with, like, a team of Golems, or something like that. Rayquaza is going to have 3 charge moves. One's going to be Outrage, which is his dragon-type move. If he has that, don't bring in dragons. And you know this by kind of like what is suggested to you. Like when you go in, if it's not suggesting dragons, if it's not suggesting ice-type Pokemon, you can kind of get a feel for what the charge move is. So he has Outrage, which is a dragon-type move. He has Rock Blast, which is a rock-type move. And then he also has Aerial Ace, which is a flying-type move. Those last two are 3 per bar charge moves, and Outrage is a 2 per bar. So he's going to be using them a lot when he gets one of his 3 per bar. But Rayquaza is kind of a glass cannon, so it's not too hard to get through him. And it has been proven that you can duo Rayquaza. I mean, it's tough, but Rayquaza is going to be like Moltres. 2 people, if they have enough stuff, enough good stuff, can actually take him down. It's actually been confirmed on PokeBattler that 2 level 40s with all ice-type Pokemon were able to take down a Rayquaza, just the 2 of them. So that's cool. And I kind of wish Moltres would come back for that reason too. It'd just be a lot more easy if me and one other strong person could go take down a level 5 legendary, but I digress. Okay, so let's jump into it. So yeah, since Rayquaza has the double weakness to ice, let's start with ice-type attackers. Now, the strongest you're going to be able to do is, in terms of CP, is going to be Articuno. And that's nice because there's finally a use for Articuno. Besides taking down Dragonites, because Articuno would do double damage. Dragonite also has a double weakness to Articuno, being flying and dragon type. Beyond Articuno, a really good glass cannon ice type is Jinx. And PokeBattler was actually thinking for people to take down Rayquaza, they would just see teams of 6 Jinx, because Jinx is going to deal a ton of ice damage. and is, you know, a really good idea if you're if you just want to deal a ton of ice damage. Beyond Jinx, there are a bunch of other viable options. Lapras, if your Lapras has ice type moves, and obviously all of these have to have ice type moves. If you have a mix of like ground or water or other types in there, that's not going to do as well. Beyond Lapras, Walrein is actually a good option. And in the video where the two players took down a Rayquaza, they each actually had 4 Walrein of their 6 Pokemon. So Walrein is a good, solid option with ice moves. Beyond Walrein, Cloyster. Cloyster would be an okay option. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else I missed for ice. One other I'm going to include, and this is not an ice Pokemon, but it still should do a decent amount of damage. And you can bring him in when Rayquaza has Rock Blast, because he won't be taking a ton of damage from the Rock Blast. Kyogre. Kyogre with Waterfall Blizzard is a good option for almost any moveset, pretty much, of Rayquaza. So yeah, that's a good lineup for dealing with Rayquaza when ice is going to work. So moving on from ice, let's hit on fairy really quickly. Gardevoir is going to be your best bet. I can't throw up a picture of that because I don't have one, as I've discussed. But there are a couple of other options. Granbull. Granbull is a Pokemon that's fairy type that can be decently high in CP. He can break into the 2000s and move a bit into it. Granbull, if I remember right, does not have a double fairy moveset. So you're going to end up with like a dark and fairy combo. But he can get like bite and play rough. So you can do something like that. And then use fairy type for the charge moves. Obviously there are better options, but I mean, like, I'm trying to provide a ton of stuff so that whatever you have, you can work with something. Moving on from Granbull, Clefable. Clefable actually can get some fairy type moves and is a fairy type Pokemon. And then I guess your other, and Clefable can also move past 2000 CP, so can do a decent amount of damage. And then moving on from Clefable, Wigglytuff. Also, I think it's a normal fairy type, and Clefable also might be normal fairy type. But they do both at least have fairy type and have fairy type moves. Not 100% sure that both of them can have a fairy fast and a fairy charge move, but they will be able to have fairy type charge moves. Moving on from that, if we're talking rock, the obvious contender is Golem. And in the video I'm going to include of me doing my first Rayquaza raid, I just took in a team of 6 Golem. Mostly because he had a Rock Blast charge move, Rayquaza did. So it was, rather than figuring out, like, moving stuff around and trying to, you know, like, it wasn't worth it bringing in ice. We had enough people that I knew we'd be fine. And so I just took in a team of Golems. And that did alright. As far as rock type attackers, I mean, I guess you could... You know, I'm just going to say stick with Golem. It's not the best option. I mean, I'm trying to think if there's anything else I even really want to talk about. I mean, I guess you could go with Rhydon as well, if you got rock type moves. There are just better options out there, again. But yeah, Golem and Rhydon, those will both work. Honestly, Tyranitar is an okay option if you're rocking Bite and Stone Edge. That works okay too. So that gives you 3 options for rock. Let's go with that. And then the final weakness of Rayquaza, I'm gonna have to double... Oh, it's Dragon, right. Okay, so for Dragon, here's where you want to be careful. If the Rayquaza has Dragon type moves, you don't want to bring dragons yourself, because Rayquaza will be doing super effective damage on your dragons. So, but if that's not the case, dragons are a viable option. So, let's start with Rayquaza. Rayquaza is actually a good Rayquaza counter if your Rayquaza has dragon moves and the raid boss doesn't. So Rayquaza is an option. Salamence, if you have one already, congratulations. I don't. I haven't even seen a Bagon yet, so Bagon, I don't know. I don't know how to pronounce this. I think that's right. Whenever I hear Bagon, it makes me think of bacon. I don't know. Maybe I'm just hungry right now because it's the morning and I haven't eaten breakfast yet. But anyways, if you have a Salamence, that's a good option. And Salamence can get Draco Meteor, which is a new, really heavy-hitting Dragon-type move. As far as I know, Salamence is the only one that can get it so far. It's been in the code for a while, but we're finally seeing a dragon that can actually have it. So beyond Salamence, Dragonite is a pretty clear option. And a lot of people are going to have a Dragonite right now. And yeah, I'm hesitant to say this, but technically, Kingdra is a dragon. I don't think Kingdra can have dragon. You know what? Scratch that. Don't bring a Kingdra. That's just not a good idea. It is an option. You know, if you have a powered up Kingdra with dragon type moves, I'm not even 100% sure Kingdra can have dragon type moves. But you know, it is an option. So if you want to do that, go for it. I did do a Rayquaza raid shortly after it came out last night. I was actually planning on going home, but I got stuck at the court. We had these two lawyers doing closing arguments for a case that's been going on for years. And they rambled on and said a bunch of stuff that didn't really help. And in the end, I kind of wanted to punch them both in the face. But it means I had to stick around in Bountiful a bit longer, and so I checked to see if there were any raids going on. There was a Rayquaza raid in Woods Cross, and I want to say shout out to everyone at that Woods Cross raid. They waited an extra 5 or 10 minutes for me to get there, so shout out to all of you. That was pretty cool. We had a nice solid group. It was something around, I don't know, I think we had 16 or so in on the Rayquaza. And yeah, we took it down pretty quick. One thing I do want to say before I show you the footage of the Rayquaza battle and then me catching it is Rayquaza's circle, when you're going to catch it, is going to close in around its face. And you'll see me throw, I had 2 excellent throws, 2 excellent curveballs when I was doing this. Wait until it zooms in on his face, try to get it as small as you can around his face, and then just aim for his face. In addition to that, he does not attack a whole lot. I mean, honestly, he floats a little bit up and down. He does not attack a whole lot, so I just kind of went for it. You know, I didn't wait for him to attack every time and try to hit it after that. I just went in for it. And that might be a strategy that you want to adopt as well. But yeah, I'll go ahead and kick it to the Rayquaza footage, and I will see you guys next time.